Would you say that you are a victim of human trafficking?
It's very difficult because I don't feel like a victim.
End of story. What is a victim? All right, guys, welcome back. This is another critical thinking moment. Now, after listening to the BBC video a few times and looking at the uncut version, and I hope you guys had the time to watch my critical review of the Andrew Tate BBC video interview. Being a critical thinker, being someone who wants to know the truth and understand the way the media works, I decided to go and find a video on this person that the BBC said accused Andrew of manipulation. This manipulation. And I found this video on the person who identified themselves as Sophie. And in this video, I want to do a critical breakdown of this individual. And I can tell you, this is even more unbelievable than the BBC interview. Guys, before we go anywhere, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button so you can get an older man's perspective on the BS that we have to put up with in our society and how to avoid it just by thinking differently. My goal isn't to tell you what to think. My goal is to try to teach you how to think. There's a very distinct difference. Critical thinking skills are paramount in this day and age where we cannot decipher what's AI, whose agenda is trying to push what. Is the COVID vaccine legitimate? Is it not? Is climate change real? Is it not? What is crypto? Is the world going to be going into a point where there's no more money? Money won't exist anymore. There will just be digital currencies. Then the government will be able to turn off those digital currencies if they want to punish you. I mean, we are living in a crazy, crazy time. This is bizarre. We are living in a bizarre world. Men can become women. Women can become men. I mean, and the beauty of it, and the beautiful part of it, and I was speaking to a 58-year-old friend of mine this morning, and we were discussing AI technology. I am fascinated by the world of AI because I'm from that generation where I saw a world and experienced a world as an adult without the internet. In the span of my lifetime, I've saw the amazing transformation that the internet has done. And now we're in the world of AI. We are moving at a rate of change that is pretty scary. Because you have to understand one thing. Every single technology improves on itself. That means that technology is moving at an exponential rate. Meaning, before it was moving at 2 times, but because we have computers that could do 2 times the work, we're now capable of moving at 4 or 8 times faster. It's now making us push to find inventions 16, 20 times faster. And that's why I'm a bit concerned about AI and the dangers it's going to bring into this new world, especially with jobs. But that's a whole other subject. Let's just get straight into this interview with Sophie. Remember, Sophie is the anonymous woman that has a disguised voice that the BBC says gave them an interview that accused Andrew Tate of manipulating her to go to Romania to work in the cam industry. I want you guys to hold that in your head a bit, and I'm gonna start the video, and then. But listen, let's just listen to Sophie.
I've just buried this so deeply. Yeah, so it was just constantly feeling inferior to him. I realised I just couldn't live like that anymore, and that it wasn't normal. I just had to get away from him.
Sophie, whose name and voice have been changed to protect her identity, dated social media influencer Andrew Tate for several months. He first contacted her on Facebook.
All right. Dated Andrew Tate for several months. Wow. Okay, several months. Let's break this down critically. How much would you say several months consist of? Because you got to realize several months doesn't mean a year. It means less than a year. Tell me, how serious can you get with a person within several months? Just hold that in your head. Dated her for several months.
He was very charming and he made himself seem very familiar. He made me feel very comfortable. And obviously, in hindsight, I know, yeah, that's his character. It's part of the manipulation. That's what he does.
He made me feel very comfortable. That's part of the manipulation. Would you go out with a man that didn't make you feel comfortable? Any man. Let's take Andrew Tate out of it. In order to be in a relationship or to have someone be part of your life, would you ever let someone into your life that made you feel uncomfortable? The answer is no. So the idea that she's actually trying to paint Andrew Tate as someone sinister because he made her feel comfortable, understand the language, my friends. That would never be a problem in any stretch of the imagination. Oh, he made me feel uncomfortable. I would be a little bit more concerned if she said that, but he made me feel comfortable. Wow. Critical? Let's proceed.
After a few weeks, Andrew Tate persuaded Sophie, who had worked in the adult entertainment industry before, to
Sophie had worked in the adult industry before. Think about that. This is a woman who was looking for an opportunity. You think a man who's a multi-millionaire, flies on private jets, would actually take a woman in the adult industry serious as a love partner? Would any successful man do that? Think about it, man. Sophie, who worked in the adult industry before. Wow.
to travel to his home in Romania to meet him in person for the first time.
I was at a stage of my life where everything sort of felt a bit boring and a bit dull, and this idea of an adventure and then lifestyle, and this guy seemed so into me, and he's making me smile every day, and the idea just seemed attractive to me.
I was bored, and the idea that this man was into me, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Remember what I said when I called out the BBC about this so-called Sophie. I had not seen this video before. I said it was probably a woman who wanted to do this because women are opportunists. She found an opportunity, but listen to what she said. Manipulate women in order for them, both of them, to make money.
So we could become rich together.
Please tell me now, if a woman didn't see the upside of being with a man who was convincing her in a business opportunity where they both benefited, do you think any of these legally aged girls would refuse? No. Every single one of these freaking women are chasing the bag. Just as I said, didn't have to see this video and hear this woman say, I was bored and I saw an opportunity to be happy and to make some money. I tell you, gentlemen, women always find the man that would give her an opportunity to change her life. That's it. Otherwise, you are of no use to a woman. But for some reason, it's manipulation when they make the decision Wow. The more I listen to this, the more I realize, holy crap.
For the last 6 weeks, the former kickboxer from Luton and his brother Tristan have been detained in Romania as part of a human trafficking and rape investigation, something they both deny.
There's not much justice in Romania.
They are accused of luring women to their compound in Bucharest and coercing them to create online pornographic content on webcams.
A couple of times he'd said to me, "Oh, you should do it, you'd make a fortune, but you don't have to, if you don't want to. You don't have to do it."
You don't have to if you don't want to. Please tell me how that's manipulation. But let's hear what else she has to say.
"You can do nothing, I make enough money."
You can do nothing. I make enough money.
But he was always reminding me that the option was there, and that kind of progressed into, well, if you love me, you would do it. If you care about me, you would do it because,
That don't make sense. If you love me, you would do it. Remember, this is a relationship over a couple of months. Which man would look at a woman and say, "Oh, you love me"? Couple of months. This is months. Please tell me which top high-valued man that makes millions amount of money would tell a girl, and she's supposed to believe that he fell in love with her, and this is a woman who's been in the adult industry, that, "Oh, I love you," after a few months? Please tell me how that makes sense.
This is my business and we can build something together and make all this money and we can buy property and we can invest. And I think over time, just chipping away at me eventually led me to think, well, yeah, maybe he's right.
He always reminded me that the option was there. I don't know. I just find this bizarre that this BBC interviewer would actually bring up Sophie as someone who actually was a victim. Please tell me how this makes sense. Wow.
How would you describe Andrew Tate?
He's a very complex man. There are a lot of different sides to him. I think it's important to recognise that the character you see online is just not the real him. And he's a very good actor. He's very manipulative. He totally lacks any kind of empathy. He's a narcissist. He's like that 100%.
In other words, he don't really care about her. The second a man do not put a woman up on that pedestal, he's a narcissist. Learn the lesson from this type of speech from a woman. Every woman now uses that term, "Oh, he's a narcissist," meaning he's not making me feel like I'm number one. Because it's impossible for a narcissist to put you first. A narcissist puts himself or herself first. And of course, because he's not putting her first, he's a narcissist. That's female speech for "I cannot manipulate or I cannot get this man to simp for me." He's a narcissist. Unbelievable. He is not a weak man, therefore he's a narcissist.
And read the things he writes and everything he does, it's calculated.
Calculated, exactly. Gentlemen, that's what you have to be. Calculated. You don't become an erratic, out of control idiot. You got to be calculated as a man. If you're not calculated and out of control, you become a danger to society. You have to be calculated at all time. 1 + 1 is 2. That's it. You're constantly evaluating the situation. Is what I'm going to do here going to endanger anyone or myself? The answer is yes or no. It's very calculated. That's how you have to live life. So this idiot is actually saying, "Oh, he's calculated, therefore he's dangerous." How the hell does that make sense? A calculated man is a man who has control. A man who's not calculated is a dangerous individual. Let's proceed.
The real Andrew is very quiet, very moody, very, very dark, heavy.
In other words, he's not a bumbling idiot that's bumbling around her and jumping up and down and, "Hey baby, hi sweetie, let's go here. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want me to buy you today?" No, he's calculated. He's under control. And women find that man alluring. They love that man. The problem is she cannot control this man. That's where they have a problem. That's where they have a problem with. I cannot control this man. Every woman's desire is to get the top man and control him. That's her only freaking desire. That is the top goal of these women. And when they can't do that, he's a narcissist, oh, he's dark, oh, he's calculated, he's this, he's that. Unbelievable. When I listen to this, I just hear the perfect example of a man who is in his purpose and she's not number one and she's hurt. She's butthurt about it. That's why she's on here trying to bring him down.
He's not jovial and light-hearted and funny. If you sat in a room with him, he'd be on his phone playing chess or on his phone making money somehow. That's all he cares about.
The personality you see online, if it wasn't there, if he was a dead, dull, boring person online, his following would have been meh. I don't have that popping great personality like he does. So I know it's a show. You can't keep that kind of energy through your life all the time. It's impossible. People like that burn out very quickly. But because this complex man blew her mind, and that's one of the alluring part of being a top man. Most of these men, women can't figure them out. Men who have aspired for greater things, most of them, they don't even make women get included in their personal, deep personal life. That drives them crazy. And because they can't figure them out, because they can't manipulate that man, that drives them insane. That's what happened to this so-called Sophie, if she's real. And I don't know, so I can't say yes or no. So,
would you say that you are a victim of human trafficking?
It's very difficult because I don't feel like a victim.
End of story. What is a victim? I don't feel like I am a victim. It should have ended right there. Because what is a victim? I could slap you lightly in the face and you could say, oh, I'm a victim of someone who slapped me. Or you can say, hey, I really love that. Do it again. This time hit my bottom. But it's how you felt in the moment. What was the person's intention when he touched you? These are the things that you guys have to understand, that females can switch this shit up after the fact to make you a bad guy. Let's listen to what else she says here.
I mean, all the choices I made were of my free will. All the choices I made were of my free will. Were of my free will. He didn't, bundle me up in a bag, throw me in the back of a lorry and drive me there. Ultimately, the choices I made were my own.
All the choices I made were at my free will. It should have ended there. They shouldn't even have aired this after she said that. It would have been like, okay, we have nothing here. There's nothing to report here. But no, she's a thinking, autonomous adult. All of the choices I made were my own. She saw opportunity. She saw money. She went for it. Wow, this is. I'm glad I found this video. I'm really glad, because this is mind-blowing on how these people try to make this man look like a bad guy. Wow.
But he knew what he was doing, and he's the most manipulative person on the planet, I'm sure of it. At what point does the emotional or psychological manipulation turn into being forced to do something?
He knew what he was doing, and he's the most manipulative man on the planet. I'm sure of it. Go back one sentence later.
All the choices I made were of my free will.
Wow. Let's flip the switch. Let's flip the switch, and he was the man, she was the man, and it was a man that got manipulated by a woman in this respect. We would laugh the man to shame if he came up with this crap. Oh, I knew what I was doing, man. I mean, I knew I was giving her money, I mean, she said she wanted help, and I gave her money. I didn't know she was sleeping with another man, or she had 3 other guys, But I knew what I was doing, man. It felt good. I gave it to her, but I feel that she manipulated me. So, my friends, that was the so-called Sophie. Please tell me, how in the hell did this woman become a victim? A victim enough for BBC, one of the supposedly most respected media outlets on the planet, try to discredit a man by bringing a freaking porn star on,
Sophie, who had worked in the adult entertainment industry before,
and accused a man of manipulating her to do more porn. Tell me how that makes sense. Wow. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to draw this out. You tell me if that made sense. I'll be happy to take your criticisms. All right? Please subscribe. Watch my other video where I broke down the BBC Tate interview, and give me your comments as well. And of course, subscribe, hit the notification button, log on to Ask an Older Man on Instagram. If you have any problems that you would like me to help you with, comment on. I'll be happy to do that by voicemail on Instagram. And of course, whenever you're in doubt, remember, always ask an older man. Okay? Cheers.